Cowboy chords, what are they? If you are a beginning guitar player, you've probably heard this term bandied about. Despite the super cool name, they're just your basic open chords, usually just simple major and minor chord voicings in first position that use one or more open strings. You know that G major chord that every dude plays as soon as they pick up an acoustic guitar? Yeah, so this one, that's a cowboy chord. So are all the other ones like C, A minor, E minor, generally some of the first chords you learn on the guitar. Cowboy chords are a family of chords. They're all pretty easy to hear, pretty easy to play, and you find them used in a lot of maybe classic rock, definitely country and older country music for sure, and some older pop songs. They are perfect for playing acoustic rhythm guitar. Okay, so yeah, they're just basic open chords. If that's the case, why do we call them cowboy chords? Well, that's a fair question. And as time goes by, the answer is a bit sillier. See, back in the 1920s, maybe 1925 up through the late 1940s, and maybe into the 50s as well, Hollywood and television were obsessed with this idea of the American cowboy. Imagine, if you will, a man riding his trusty steed through the prairies, rustling his cattle, and slowly strumming a guitar and singing. This is an image that America fell in love with. You've probably even heard of some of these singing cowboys. Gene Autry, Roy Rogers, and Tex Ritter are probably some of the most common names, but heck, even Bob Barker was a singing cowboy for a little while. As the 1940s came to a close, the image of the American cowboy faded into the sunset. However, a few dusty vestiges of this American icon still remain, one of them being the term cowboy chords. Okay, great. So now we know what they are. We know where they got their kind of weird name. How do we play them? Well, that's pretty easy. Some basic practice and you'll be able to play these chords. This is where most guitar players start, because these chords are very easy to get a hold of. They have similar grips. So learning a G chord, for example, will make it very easy to play a C chord and maybe an F chord. So get yourself a metronome, get yourself a book of chords, and in a couple of weeks you can be out there riding the trails, singing to the coyotes. I don't know. Cowboy chords are great. They come rather easily to most guitar players and serve as a great entry point into rhythm guitar playing. However, this is not where you want to stop. Most guitar players make the mistake of simply learning a few shapes, buying a capo, and calling it a day. They never really stop to ponder or really listen to the notes they're playing or how they're playing them within the cowboy chord. They simply learn a shape and kind of turn off their ears and their brain. This is really dangerous because your playing will quickly become very stale and very boring, and you'll rapidly build up walls around your playing that limit what you can do. It's really important to think about how the notes you're playing in the chord relate to one another, different ways to finger those notes, and how you might be able to make some changes within that chord fingering to open up some more sounds and some more possibilities. Okay, so the last thing I'll say, you should think about cowboy chords as a tool. They're extremely useful and helpful and musical in some circumstances, but maybe not the best choice in others, right? You probably wouldn't use a pocket knife to cut down a tree, and you probably wouldn't use a chainsaw for brain surgery. At least I hope you wouldn't. So selecting the right chordal instrument, the right chordal tool for whatever song or style you're playing is really important. If it's country, classic rock, pop, cool. Cowboy chords usually sound pretty good, especially if you're playing rhythm guitar, acoustic rhythm guitar as part of a rhythm section or ensemble. That's really the right sound and texture for that situation. However, if you're in a heavy rock band, well, you probably don't want to use those open chord voicings. You probably want a power chord, which, by the way, is another family of chords. If you were playing jazz or R&B, well, you might want to use a drop 2 or a drop 3 chord voicing. That would be a better choice for that musical language. So learn cowboy chords. You can make a lot of great music with them, and it's a wonderful way to play the guitar. But don't stop there. Listen carefully to the chords. Think about the way you're playing them, how you might be able to change notes or fingerings within that chord. Maybe you're only playing a few strings within that chord shape. Pick the right chordal tool for the job or song, and never limit your possibilities when it comes to playing music. If you're interested in learning more about cowboy chords or chord families in general, how to improve your rhythm, strumming, or even make your chord playing more melodic, drop me a line, sam@greenhillsguitar studio. See ya.